All right, guys, this is going to be a lesson on writing systems of equations. This lesson is going to be a little bit different because I'm pre-recording this before we actually get into the class. I want to explain to you guys what it means because I actually have a sub coming up, so I want to make sure that you guys have this available to watch the video. If you are watching this with the sub, please, please, please do me a favor. Pay close attention because this is going to kind of set up the next couple days for you, the next couple lessons. Um, if you kind of zone out on this one and you don't really pay attention, you're not going to really know what's going on, which in turn is going to set you up for kind of failure moving forward. So I want you to understand what a system of equation is and then what it means. Okay, so a couple of things I want to cover is what is a system of equation. Okay, so here we go. What it is. A system of equation is just simply two or more lines that are graphed. Okay, two or more linear equations that can be solved together. Okay, so if we have two equations, we got y equals mx plus b, which you know how to graph. Okay, we've done that. We've done slope, we've done y-intercept. Now instead of just having one equation, we're going to throw a second one in there. So we're going to have y equals mx plus b twice. Okay, we're going to have two of them. And what that means is that we're going to take both of those equations. I'm going to turn the lights on real quick. We're going to take both of those equations and we're going to graph them at the same time. Okay, we're going to take them and we're going to graph them at the same time. And here we go. Both of the equations have to have the same solution. Now, please watch this. The solution, when you're looking for an answer, what we're looking for is the point where both of the equations cross. Okay? You're looking for the coordinate that works in both equations. Now, when we can graph them, it's pretty easy. If we graph one equation here and then we graph another line here, the solution is 2, 5. What that simply means is that that solution, that is the only solution, the x and y, that's the only one that will actually work in both equations to make it true. Because if you remember when we were talking about y equals mx plus b, the reason the line was the line is because every point up and down that line worked in the equation, and I proved it to you. I told you to pick out random points, plug them into the equation, and see if they came out to be true, and they always did. Okay, this is the only point that will work in both of them. How do we know it works in both? Because it crosses and it's actually touching both of the lines. Okay, so that's what the solution is. We are looking for the point that crosses both of them. Okay, we're looking for the one point where they cross. Now, there's three different ways to solve systems of equations. You have we're going to write them, but you're going to solve them by graphing, by substitution, and by elimination. And I'm going to go through all of those, not today, but those are going to be future. But today, I'm just setting you up to tell you what a system of equation is. Today, we're just going to write them. Literally, all you have to do is know how to set the equation up. Once we get the equation set up, then when we come back next week, we can start working on how to solve these things, okay? Graphing is actually pretty easy because you just got to graph it and find out where they cross. All right, so here we go. Hopefully you got all that information. That was a lot of talking for not a lot of work. Okay, here we go. What is the solution? The solution is the ordered pair that works both equations true. Okay, it's the point where they cross. I've already gone through all of that. All right, here we go. If it crosses one time, it has one solution. Okay, if it crosses one time, it has one solution. Okay, which is right here. Now, remember, I just told you that if they cross, that is the solution. Well, what if they don't cross? If they don't cross, there is no solution. In other words, there is no equation, there is no point, no x and y that can work in both equations to make them true. There's no way that it could possibly work. Okay? No, there's no way that it works. And let's say you have two equations that lay over the top of each other. There's a point, 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 there's a point. It is an infinite number of solutions. Well, people are like, well, I only count like 7. Okay, well, if it has arrows, it goes on forever. Okay, so that is called an infinite number of solutions. In other words, it doesn't matter which one, there's more than one that'll work. It's an infinite number. You can just pick whatever and it will work. Okay, let's talk about it. Pretty simple. One solution, no solution, infinite solutions. Okay, that's your intro to systems of equations. All right, so here comes the fun part. Now we're going to learn how to set up these equations. All right, hopefully you have this worksheet. Looks like this. Hopefully you grabbed one on the way in here. It says writing systems of linear equations. Question number 1. I guess it's question number 2 on here. That's fine. We'll jump right to question number 2. All right, a 40 question test has only multiple choice questions and short answer questions. Multiple choice questions are worth 1 point each, and short answer questions are worth 5 points each. Okay? The test is worth 100 points. Now, what we're going to do is to figure out where they cross, you have to have 2 different equations. Okay? You have to have 2 different equations. So let me ask you this. What kind of questions do we have? We have multiple choice questions, and we have short answer questions. We have multiple choice and we have short answer questions, okay? So if we have multiple choice questions, we have M and we have S, and we have a total of 40 questions. So there's my first equation. We have multiple choice and we have short answer questions, and we have 40 of them total, okay? That's this right here, 40 questions. Now, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Yeah, no worries. All right, the second one. If you look, there's another value in here, okay? Let me do it in purple. How about it's worth 100 points? So check this out. It's worth 100. Okay, so let me ask you this. What are the multiple choice questions worth? Now we're going to talk about the value of each one, okay? Multiple choice questions are worth 1 point each, okay? So now you don't have to put 1M, but I'm going to do it anyway. 1M plus, and what are short answer questions worth? 5. So 5 short answer. Those are my 2 equations. If I solve both of them, I can actually graph them. Now, you could change the M and the S to be X and Y. Okay, you can make them whatever letters you want to. But if we're going to graph them like in Desmos, we can make it XY and XY. Okay, it's completely up to you. But I'm just showing it to you. Okay, you have 2 different values. You have 40 questions, so it equals 40. When I talk about the type of questions, it doesn't matter what they're worth. It's just 40 questions on the test. Now we've got 1 point and 5 points to add up to be 100 points, okay? So you're looking for the values so that you can write the equations out. Okay, you're looking for the separate values. Let's do another one, just for the heck of it. All right, here we go. The perimeter of a dance floor is 44 feet. Okay, this one's a little harder, by the way. I think this one's actually a harder question. Okay, the perimeter of a dance floor. Now, we're going to say the dance floor is a rectangle, okay? We're going to do this. Everybody with me? The perimeter of the rectangle, or the perimeter of the dance floor. Now, it is 44 feet. Going back to middle school, hopefully you've done this before, okay? To figure out the perimeter of a dance floor, this is the width and this is the length, okay? The perimeter of a dance floor is P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. In other words, there's 2 lengths and there's 2 widths. Hopefully you remember that. So that's my first equation. The perimeter is 44, so 2L plus 2W equals 44, okay? Hopefully you remember that. 2 lengths, 2 widths. The perimeter is the area on the outside, okay? All right, here's the second one. Please read this. The length is, okay, if you see that, L equals. Length is, L equals, okay? 8 less than twice the width. If you see less than, you switch the order so 8 goes behind it. Think about it. If somebody has $50 and you have 10 less than them, how much do you have? You have $40, okay? 50 minus 10, the 10 is last. You have 10 less than 50, okay, so you have 40. So it goes backwards. Less than means you switch the order, so it's going to be something minus 8. Then it says twice the width. Well, if I have twice something, that means I multiply it times 2. There's my other equation. Okay, length equals 2W minus 8. If you're confused on that, please rewind it, go back, watch it again, and slow down and think about what it's saying, okay? Please go back, watch it if you need to, okay? Moving on. Tara works for a cosmetic company. She is paid $150 plus a commission of 4% on total sales. All right, here we go. This one's not awful, but it can be very, very confusing. She has been offered another job for another company that pays $100 plus 7% commission, okay? All right, so here we go. The first equation, I'm going to do this in Y equals, by the way, just because I can. Fair? She is paid $150 plus, okay, why not just start $150 plus Please don't overthink that. She is paid $150 plus. By the way, while I'm thinking about this, break it down into sections. Don't try to do too much at once. If you try to do too much at once, you're going to get lost, okay? If you read this whole problem, you're like, I can't figure this out. No, just break it up into chunks, just like I just did. She is paid $150 plus. And then it says commission of 4% on sales. Okay? 4% on sales. So 4% as a decimal, if you guys remember, if I convert that, it is 0.04 because I moved the decimal twice to the left. Okay, so 0.04. I could use X, I could use Y. Because I used Y, I'm going to use X over here. You can use S if you want, 4% sales. It doesn't matter. Okay, please understand that. All right, there's the first one. The next one, she pays $100 plus, so here we go, Y equals 100 plus a commission of 7%, so 0.07x. There's my two equations. 100 plus a commission of 7% on all her sales. So whatever she sells, she gets 7% plus another $100. Okay, hopefully you got that. All right, moving on. You're buying donuts for the class. Now we're talking my language. Okay, good. All right, here we go. You're buying donuts for the class. There are 40 students. Okay? 40 students, okay? Hold on. What kind of donuts are we buying? We're buying regular donuts and we're buying chocolate donuts. By the way, on your worksheet, this is number 1. Okay, this is at the top of the worksheet, okay? You have regular donuts and you have chocolate donuts. Okay, so how many donuts do I have if I combine the two types of donuts? I have 40 donuts. Regular plus chocolate equals 40. Okay, hopefully that's not incredibly hard. Regular donuts plus chocolate donuts equals 40. Now here we go. You need to buy 3 times as many regular than you have chocolate. You need to buy 3 times as many regular donuts as you have chocolate. Okay, so you're going to take the number of chocolate donuts that you have. Hold on, think about it. You're going to take the chocolate donuts that you have and you're going to multiply it times what? 3. Okay, so I'm going to take the chocolate donuts I have, I'm going to multiply it times 3. And that's going to be the number of regular donuts that I buy. There's my third one. Or there's my other equation. Okay? R equals 3 times C because you're going to have 3 times as many regular ones than chocolate. So you take the chocolate, multiply it times 3. That tells you what regular is. All right. I think that's it. All right. Writing equations. Please listen to me on this, okay? You need to find the 2 values that you were looking for, okay? Because when you're writing systems of equations, you have to have 2 different values. You have to. There's no way around it. You can't just say, well, here's my equation. You've got to find the 2 different values. Kind of like this one. This is a good one to, like we've already gone through it, but I'm going to show you one more time. Actually, you know what? On the bottom of your worksheet, let's do another one. Let's do one that's not on the worksheet. Let's go to let's go to number 6. Oh, no. Number 3. She's got a box containing pennies. Sue has, forget about all this, okay? Let's go back, blank sheet. Boom, Sue. Sue has a box. She has a box of, hold on, I want to word this. Pennies and nickels. Pennies and nickels. Okay? She has 66 coins worth, this I love these examples because you guys understand money. Worth $2.38. Set up the equation to figure out how many nickels. Listen, you can have 66 coins. Listen, I could have 66 nickels in 1 penny or 65 nickels in 1 penny. That would be 66 coins, but it wouldn't add up to be $2.38. So what you have to do is you have to find the right combination of pennies and nickels to add up to be 66 coins and $2.38. I hope that makes sense. Like I could go 10 nickels and, I don't know, 56 pennies. It's not going to add up to be $2.38. Okay, you can do any number of combinations for 66 coins, but there's only one combination that works for both of them. Okay, so here's how you work this up. What are my 2 totals? Okay, My two totals are 66 and 238. So check this out. I have equals 66, and I have one that's $2.38. Now, one of those equations is about value. Okay, one of them is not. One of them is just like I have a whole box of coins and I have so many of them. Okay, which one is that? That's this one. This one, I don't care about the value. It's like I took it and I just counted them out. I had 66 coins. Okay, so what kind of coins do I have? Pennies and nickels. So I have pennies plus nickels equals 66. By the way, this is number 3 on your worksheet. This is number 3. Okay, pennies and nickels, 66 coins. Now we're going to talk about the value. Okay, what is a penny worth? 1 penny. Okay, 1 cent. So a penny is, because now we're talking about how much money it's worth. So now we got to know what each one of them is worth. Okay, so here we go. A penny is worth 0.01 penny. What's a nickel worth? If this is 0.01, what's a nickel? Obviously, it's going to be 0.05 nickel. There's my two equations. Okay, and we could solve them. We're going to solve that later. Okay, I promise we're going to solve this. But today we're just working on setting it up. Okay, I want you to just set it up. Okay, writing system of linear equations. All it is, you need to find the two values. Okay, you've got to find the two equal signs. Okay, you're going to practice this a little bit. You're going to practice a little bit. You want to make sure this is set up. Please do not blow today off. Please do not blow off this lesson, especially with the sub. Don't do that. That is very, very important. Okay, please understand this is very, very important. If you have any questions, email me. We could talk about it on Monday or whatever. But please, please do the best you can to try to figure this out. If you need to, go back and watch the lesson again. Okay. See you guys. Have a good day.